2005. Not the best year for quantity, but a pretty good year for quality, in my opinion. With the new incarnation of Headbangers Ball on MTV2 going on, playing the deathcore, post-hardcore, fucking Hot Topic shit. But yeah, that's how the new Headbangers Ball was kind of doing. The old school one from the 90s was way fucking better. The 80s and 90s one. Anyway, don't need a fucking introduction. Let's get on with this fucking shit already. Corrosion of Conformity, In the Arms of God, Sanctuary Records. And this would be album number 7, and the only album so far anyway, to feature drummer Stanton Moore. I heard he's actually going to be playing drums on the upcoming one. And during this time, this is the last album to feature vocalist Pepper Keenan. You know, they did some three-piece reunion, a couple of albums as a three-piece without Pepper, and then he returned again later when Reed Mullen, came back and all that. But anyway, Stanton Moore is known as a jazz drummer, and he played in a band called Galactic at the time. And so far, this is the only album to feature Woody Weatherman singing lead vocals on a track. And the song title is Infinite War. Mike Dean does the chorus. But anyway, the style of this album, it's more heavy and raw than the stuff they've been doing previously. Like the America's Volume Dealer album is more polished and digital sounding, kind of thin and tinny sounding. This album's more analog, a lot of low frequency, heavy bass, heavy drums. The guitars are more raw, the vocals are a little more angrier. It's not polished at all. I've heard some people bitch about the sound quality. I like that lo-fi, raw sound that it's got. And yeah, it's a start to finish fucking killer album. But I'm gonna go to my go-to tracks right now. And for my fucking favorites, it's really hard to pick, but I'm gonna go with Never Turns to More, So Much Left Behind, Backslider. World on Fire is really fucking catchy. It's got a good Thin Lizzy kind of hook to it. And I really dig the Jaguar. It's a bonus track on the Japanese import. It's one of those live in studio tracks, but I could hear overdub guitars Woody's doing doubles on. It sounds fucking killer. That's a song I'd really like to hear them play live, actually. And there is a video for the song, Stonebreaker. And I haven't heard through interviews, there's a demo version of Stonebreaker, and it features, John Paul Gaster on drums from Clutch. And then there's a 2003 or 2004 demo for the song It Is That Way, which features Merritt Partridge on drums. I think this is when they're going through like a transition after Reed Mullen quit. They had Jimmy Bower for the live album. They didn't really have a full-time drummer to keep. But yeah, the demo version for It Is That Way is on that High Times compilation that I spoke about in another video. And I don't want to get too far off topic regarding this album, but there's a cover of Lynyrd Skynyrd's The Hunt with Merritt Partridge as well that finally surfaced a couple years back. That's been shelved. But I think there's like a whole album's worth of shit that was recorded with this drummer. And this is kind of like during the time where Pepper was busy with Down again, and they did a three-piece version of the band, but they called it the Let Loans and recorded an album. But I don't know if that's going to surface or not. And I don't remember if they said it was Merritt Partridge on drums or it was Jason Patterson, who they had as the tour drummer for this album, In the Arms of God. What was kind of a treat for me when this album came out, I saw them the same night. They opened up for Motorhead. I picked up the CD on my way to Las Vegas, and I only got to listen to a couple songs. So I only got to hear maybe 3 songs. So by the time I got to the venue, they pretty much performed a bunch of songs from the album. So that was like a first time me seeing these new songs was in person and not on the CD. I thought that was pretty fucking cool. And then I popped the CD in, leaving the venue, and I was listening to the songs. Okay, this is pretty fucking badass. But I thought it was kind of cool seeing them perform the songs live for the first time before listening to the album. That's kind of a killer treat, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, they had the drummer Jason Patterson from the band Cry of Love. And of course, after Corrosion set, fucking Motorhead came on and it was loud as fuck. Everything was louder than everything else. Yeah, Las Vegas House of Blues, 2005. That was some really fucking crazy shit. A lot of fucking bikers, a lot of punkers. That fucking place was lit. It was fucking fire. But yeah, definitely got to add that this is probably one of my favorite releases, but I'm probably going to say Wise Blood might be my number 1, but this one's probably second. It kind of depends on my mood, but yeah, definitely give this one a listen. Buy the fucking thing. Next, we got Crowbar, Life's Blood for the Downtrodden on Candlelight Records. And I remember back in the day when they were making the album, they were announcing the title. Originally it was called You Don't Need an Enemy to Have a War. And it was saying the album was recorded in 2004. I met Craig Nunemacher in 2003 when he was in the band Black Label Society. and he was telling me about he was recording an album with Kirk, you know, to make a new Crowbar album, but he didn't go into further details. But I think this might have been recorded in 2003 to 2004. But anyway, so yeah, it's kind of cool because Craig Nunemacher came back to make an album with Crowbar again, and the album also features Rex Brown on bass, you know, Pantera and Down. And touring Crowbar guitarist Steve Gibb also appears on the track, the title track actually, playing electric and acoustic guitar. And yes, he is the son of Barry Gibb from the Bee Gees, yes. And I really dig the rawness, the way this album was recorded and produced. It's not super polished like some of the stuff before and after. And go-to tracks, I'm going to have to say Slave No More, Calming Down, Fall Back to Zero, Holding Something, Moon, and The Violent Reaction. I mean, I'm going to have to give it a couple more spins because sometimes my mood changes on this album as well. But yeah, there are 2 music videos for the album. The song Dead Sun and the song Slave No More. And I remember when they were on tour for this album, they were playing with Propane. I think they're opening for Entombed back in 05. I left Arizona to go visit California to go check them out. And the live lineup had Tommy Buckley on drums from Soylent Green. And of course, Steve Gibb was on guitar. Pat Bruders was playing bass, you know, he's in St. Vitus now. He also played in Goat Whore and a bunch of other bands. And of course, Kirk Windstein on vocals and guitar. That was a fun fucking night. Kirk Windstein was cool as fuck. He's fucking funny as shit when you joke with him. And it's kind of a trip. He'll be like funny between songs, you know, he'll be like a clown and fucking just making people laugh between the songs. Then the songs come in, it's all serious and dark, and yeah, it's just a good time. A big mix of different emotions. It's fucking awesome. And just like the Down 2 album, this album was also produced by Warren Riker, who has worked with, you know, Michael Jackson, like I've said, and plenty of fucking big artists. Judas Priest, Angel of Retribution. This is album number 15. This marks the return of Rob Halford on vocals. I find the album good. I think a lot of people were bitching about this album, saying it wasn't as good as Painkiller and all that shit, you know, because that was the last album Halford did with Judas Priest back in 1990 before he quit, and then he put out the 2 records with Tim Ripper Owens. I find this album really fucking good, though. I'm not too crazy about the 2 singles, Judas Rising and Revolution. They're pretty good songs, but I think they're a little lackluster compared to the ones I dig. Like, Worth Fighting For is pretty fucking good. It's like one of those road songs, you know, it has like a southwestern biker kind of, you know, desert vibe to it. But maybe that's just me. I like bluesy guitar riffs. That's just kind of my dig, I guess. It has a lot of good hooks, too, as well. You know, the other songs that I'm really digging is, Demonizer's pretty good, you know what I mean? But I like Wheels of Fire. Wheels of Fire is fucking, like, that reminds me of the old fucking Judas Priest, the straightforward shit, the double bass, you know, the shit from the 80s. That one's a fucking big motherfucker, I think. And same goes with the song Hell Rider. That song, fucking, that should have been like, you know, that's probably like a Painkiller leftover. That's kind of the vibe I get off of that song. And another one I really dig a lot is Deal with the Devil. That one's pretty fucking catchy and it's really heavy. And of course, some of the songs I gotta be in the mood for. They're not fillers or nothing, anything by that means at all. They're just like some things I just gotta be in the mood for to listen to it in its entirety. Like maybe like if I'm driving or something, but if I'm kicking it and I want to fucking play some Judas Priest, you know, I might skip a couple songs off of it. But overall, this is a pretty good comeback for this lineup, you know. Then they started making records after that with this lineup, and it sounded really good. You know, then the departure of KK Downing, which is kind of a downer, I thought. And I mean, they're still doing some good shit without him, but I do really, I did appreciate the fact that this lineup came back for a couple albums, you know. This is kind of what we needed after that long wait. I'm going to throw this one in real quick. Black Label Society Mafia, album number 6. You know, this is probably one of the better albums, you know, before Black Label was... I don't want to talk shit about Zakk Wylde at all, but the style of the band, to me, was getting a little watered down. They're putting out albums like every year, and I think like this might have been like the last of the really good fucking sounding albums they were doing. I really dig the fact that Craig Nunemacher was in the band. He's a fucking amazing drummer. I liked his work in Crowbar a lot, especially the older shit that he's on. And the lineup also features bass player James Lomenzo, who's played in Megadeth and White Lion and a bunch of fucking legendary bands. And he's pretty kick-ass. I saw him when they were touring, and his fucking bass skills are just insane. Like, he's all finger. He looks like a jazz bassist on fucking steroids when he plays, and I thought that was kind of cool. And I think he's like the only bass player that actually got to record on the fucking albums because I think Zach Wild handled all the bass, but I think he made the exception for him just because he's such a fucking killer bass player. And I gotta throw an honorable mention so my fucking friends don't jump my ass. But yes, it's a CD I need to fucking spin more, and I'm kind of slacking on some of these bands. But Creator, the album, Enemy of God. Yes, it's a killer fucking album, but I don't want to get too specific because I have been kind of fucking slacking on listening to their shit. I've listened to it, but I put everything on shuffle a lot, especially like lately, and I can't remember what fucking song is on what album, but hey, I'm just gonna say some good shit about that, but not get too specific, keep it short and sweet. But yeah, fucking hit me up in the comments if you got any suggestions. Yeah, some of my friends are jumping my ass in my emails or whatever. Hey, you need to fucking talk about this. And I mean, yeah, I'm going to be very picky on what albums I talk about. But suggestions don't hurt, you know what I'm saying? Just don't be a fucking prick because that's my fucking job. You got to remember that shit. Oh, and by the way, it's October 5th. It's my fucking birthday. And why are my fucking clothes still on? Gee, Anyway, no, enough of that shit. Carry on. Anyway, if you don't like my fucking shit, that's cool. But if you do, hey, give me a donation in the fucking, within the comment section. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell. Follow us on, Spotify and all them other fucking streaming sites. YouTube, of course. Oh yeah, TeePublic also has Mean Street Wear for your offensive apparel needs. Until next time, see ya.